This has got to be the best paper for fountain pens. I'm kidding. But you've probably heard that before in other video reviews, and they're probably right. But here's my take or my personal opinion. While there is such a thing as a gold standard with fountain pen friendly papers, what works like a dream for one person might be a nightmare for someone else. And with so many videos saying the same thing, why don't we change it up a bit? You know, there is something magical about finding the perfect combo, the nib, the ink, and the paper, all working in harmony. When those three align, it's chef's kiss. And it's a sweet slope from there. And today, we're zooming in on one part of that trifecta, the paper. Because let's be honest, paper is just as important as the pen and ink. Hey friends, it's Freddie. Welcome back to Pens and Ponderings. Today we're putting 11, yes, you heard that correctly, 11 popular papers to the test with the same fountain pens and inks side by side. Some are premium like Tomoe River and Clairefontaine, and some are easier to find at your local stationery or bookstores. But don't let the price tags fool you, because sometimes the underdogs might just surprise you. I think we can all agree that not every paper is created equal. Some make your ink shimmer and show off that sheen, while others turn your writing into a hot, smudgy mess. But as I mentioned from my previous videos, you don't need to spend a fortune to enjoy fountain pens. What matters is how a paper makes you feel when you write. So just a quick disclaimer, this is a completely honest review. Every single notebook or paper in this lineup was purchased by me with my own money. I have no affiliation or sponsorship with any of these brands. I'll link where I got them in the description in case you want to try them out yourself, but nothing in this video is paid for or sponsored. How this video is going to go: first, I'll give you a quick look at the papers and pens I'm using. Then we'll roll a sped up montage of the swatching so you don't have to sit through the whole thing, because that's a lot. After that, I'll walk you through each paper while we look at the dried ink samples, and then we'll talk about how the ink behaved with the feathering, ghosting, bleed through, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Then we'll go through a verdict with the visuals side by side in a comparison table. And then, of course, I'll share my personal favorite at the very end. So let's dive in. All right, so just a quick peek of what we're testing today. I will have the Tomoe River paper, which is in my traveler's journal using sterling ink notebook. I have the Clairefontaine Triomphe, the Apica CD notebook, Midori MD, Iroful. I have the Rhodia right here, the Dot Pad, and the 195 Mnemosyne, Kokuyo Campus, a composition notebook from Target, and Moleskine. Oh, sorry. And of course, my Muji notebook. All right, for the pens and inks, I've picked 3 combos to show how different ink properties behave on these papers based on the nib size and the properties of the ink. So for the broad nib, I'm using the TWSBI 580 in Iris, and this is inked with the Wearing Gold 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This is a shimmer ink, like really shimmer. You can, there it is. It's all resting in the bottom. But anyway, this is a beautiful ocean blue ink with medium shading and heavy on the gold shimmer. So it's wet, it's bold, and it's shiny. Yes, it's perfect for testing how shimmer performs on different paper textures and coatings. For the medium nib, this one I could have picked any pen, but this one was the first one I saw. This is from Relic Pens. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is brown mica with translucent brown body. Isn't it pretty? This is inked with the Wearing Gold Phantom of the Opera. This is a very high sheening ink. So this one, it has that rich cobalt blue, which matches that body right there. And then it will have like a dramatic pink sheen. So it's so pretty. I love my sheening inks. Not a lot of shading, but the sheen is just amazing. So let's see if the paper can show that. For the fine nib, I just picked a regular Lamy because everybody seemed to own one. This is the Lamy All-Star in purple, and again, it's a fine nib. This one is inked with the Diamine, oh, wrong one, Tyrian purple. I'm so sorry. So this one is inked with Tyrian purple, not Writer's Blood. But yeah, so this one is it's a low shading, has low shading, no sheen, and no shimmer. So it's just great for testing, you know, basic inks and how they perform, especially with finer nibs, and whether paper can improve or worsen the writing experience. I might also throw in a few extra swatches here and there just to push the paper to its limits, because, you know, why not? If it can survive a Q-tip swab or a shimmer ink, it can probably handle anything, right? So we're going to swatch and write with each of these across all the papers. Then we're going to compare how they handle the bleed through, the ghosting, the feathering, dry time, and ink property performance. So let's get to testing. I know you're all excited. All right, for the first one, we'll start with the most popular one, which is the Tomoe River paper Sanzen edition. So after the original Tomoe River was discontinued, a Japanese paper company named Sanzen acquired the rights and formula, and they revived it under the same name. So except now it will say Tomoe River S, and the S stands for Sanzen. So essentially, this is the spiritual successor to the legendary Tomoe River. It is slightly thinner, slightly more textured, and it dries a little faster than the original. If it still gives you the great sheen and shading, but not quite as dramatic as the original. I mean, if you use the OG Tomoe River, you will definitely notice a difference. This is 52 GSM. So it's ultra lightweight, or at least it's considered ultra lightweight in the paper, if you're going to compare it to the other notebooks or paper. As I mentioned, it's slightly more toothier than the original, so it feels stiffer and less glassy. That's one thing that everyone noticed about this one. It's not as smooth as the other one. It's still smooth though, but not as smooth as the original. And the color is slightly warmer white than the original. That's also another thing that a lot of people, or a lot of Tomoe River fanatics, noticed. In terms of the fountain pen performance, you can see here, it's supposed to be not as dramatic with the shading and sheen, but I kind of beg to disagree, because I can see some shading here. And this is a very low shade, but you can see it. Right? And that sheen, come on, you can see that on the camera, right? Like, look at that sheen. That's crazy. And you know, I mean, look at that shimmer. Come on now, the shimmer is shimmering. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. The dry test, I noticed that because the Wearing Gold Phantom of the Opera is pretty wet, there's really no changes. From 5 seconds to 30 seconds, it's still pretty wet up to 30 seconds. Same thing with the Diamond Terran Purple. I'm actually kind of surprised about that. I thought it's not as a, it's not, I didn't think that was a very dry ink, but yeah, it's still pretty wet at the 30-second mark. With the Wearing Gold 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, by the 30-second mark, it is completely dry. So you can see it, there's no more smudging. In terms of bleed through, so the original Tomoe River paper really has no bleed through. That's one of its best characteristics. For this one, let's find out. Okay, there you go. So as you can see, there is some bleed through, right? So they said that it's rare, even on wet nibs, but as you can see, this is the Wearing Gold Phantom of the Opera. I thought this was more wetter than the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but clearly this one bled through pretty bad. The paper is completely saturated. Ghosting, this is still normal. Nothing has changed. Like even with the original, you will always see ghosting. It's not bad. I mean, I guess, or I'm used to it, so I don't really care for it anymore. Yeah. Well, anyway, I do like, what I like about the Tomoe River paper Sanzen is it's more tactile now. So some people call it draggy, especially with fine nibs. And I did notice that when I was writing this, when I was using the Lamy, but I don't mind it actually. I like that tactile feel. So I guess the Sanzen Tomoe River is like, they at least they said it's the refined reinterpretation of the old Tomoe River, but you know, not a lot of people are a big fan, unfortunately. You know, it's not the perfect replica, to be perfectly honest, but it's still one of the best ultralight fountain pen papers available today. So, and as you can see, it does show all the properties. Even with the, I wish I could zoom, let me try to zoom in, hang on. Even, zoom some more. Some more. There it is. Even with the writing, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's not showing on camera, which is so weird. You can see, at least from my angle, okay, I can see the shimmer on the ink. So it's definitely showing the properties. And this is one of the toughest ones. Shimmer is definitely, not shimmer, sheen is definitely one of the toughest ones to use on any paper, because either you have it or you don't. This one, you definitely have it. Ooh, look at that shimmer. Crazy. I love it. All right, next one is the Clairefontaine. This is what they consider, what a lot of people consider as the gold standard for fountain pen friendly papers. And honestly, I think it did earn its place in a lot of aspects, I guess. It is ultra smooth, very smooth. It's acid free and it's PFC certified, which is as ethical as it's elegant. The ink, when I was inking this, it just floats, right? I guess because of that coating. So it makes the shading and sheen, well, it's supposed to make the sheen and the shading looks gorgeous. But as you can see, the shading looks amazing. Like you can see more shading here than the Tomoe River, even though again, this is a very low shading ink. With the with the sheen, you can barely see it. It's really flat, and I don't understand it. Because I had really high hopes for the Clairefontaine, because everybody loves Clairefontaine. Um, I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's absorbing it really well. I mean, the absorption time is very long, but it looked really flat to me. It's like one, big navy blob. Wait, I mean, you can see some of the here. Let me zoom in again. You can see some of the shading. I mean, shading, the shimmer right there. Very, very little, but you won't really appreciate it, because you don't really see it as much. With the shimmer, I mean, yeah, still pretty good. I think it did much better actually than the Tomoe River in terms of the writing. It's very consistent. The gold and the blue, you can see, right? Dry time, well, this is also, this surprised me because by the 30-second mark, this one was compared to the Tomoe River, this one pretty much dried up by the 32nd. Then this is the Tyrian Purple. For the Phantom of the Opera, it was, again, because that's a wet ink, so even after 30 seconds, it's still pretty smudgy. The Wearing Gold, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, that one's pretty dry too by the 30-second mark. So, and then also, just for, because this is the Lamy, oh God, I forgot it's this bottle. I forgot the name. Oh my God. I'll make sure to add it right here. Anyway, this one, you can actually see the sheen on this one. So maybe it really depends on your ink. So that's another thing to consider, right? Like, just because it doesn't work with one ink, it's not a complete failure, because clearly this is also a high sheening ink, and you can see this is supposed to be purple, and then once it dries up, it turns green. That's why I love using that ink for for a lot of reasons. But yeah, so it's a very high, what is it, chromatic ink. So I guess it's still there. So I guess what everyone's saying about, they all kind of check. The Clairefontaine checks all the boxes in terms of shading, sheening, and shimmer. So I say yes to that. Now, in terms of ghosting, let's take a look. Ghosting and bleeding. So there is a slight bleeding on the Tyrian Purple, which I'm very surprised, because this is the Phantom of the Opera, no bleeding whatsoever. This one you can see, oh no, maybe just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. You can see right there. And also right there. It's not even noticeable. And so it's more like ghosting to me than bleeding. This definitely bled a little bit, right? But yeah, ghosting, not as bad as Tomoe River, if you ask me. It's not as pronounced. However, this one, which is the Lamy one, something lilac. It's coming to me now. Something lilac. Anyway, yeah, that one is pretty bad. It definitely had some more bleeding. But nothing a sticker can fix, right? So I still say, Clairefontaine is a great paper, right? And that's why a lot of people do love this paper. Yeah. All right, next one is the Apica CD Notebook Premium. So think of this as Clairefontaine's stylish cousin. It's also got that silky feel, it's super soft. And actually, I noticed this when I was swatching, that it has really great binding. It is sewn, so it lays flat, which is very helpful when you're swatching. This is an 86.5 GSM, so it's slightly heavier than the Tomoe River. And it's slightly also creamier in tone compared to both the Tomoe River and the Clairefontaine. So I think this is great for journaling. And let me see. Oh, sorry. Maybe not as much. Oh God. Okay. Maybe good for journaling, not good as for swatching. Let's cover that. Yeah, the dry time on this one is a lot better. It's more absorbent, but you do sacrifice on a lot of the properties that I noticed. So I would not swatch on the Apica or Apica. So if you notice here, you know what? Let's just zoom in. Look at that hot mess right there. Crazy, right? Writing is fine. There's no feathering whatsoever, right? But you do not swatch. Look at look at that hot mess right there, right? Does it have feathering? I don't see any feathering, right? Maybe slight feathering, but not really bad. Like not like, you know. This one, yeah, this one did show the shimmer properties, but again, on the don't swatch. On the writing sample, it's definitely showing what it's supposed to, you know, show you. You will not see this one. You won't see the sheening properties. So it's just a flat navy blue ink. I do see a little bit of feathering. But this one, for the shimmer ink, 10 out of 10, right? I love it. Dry time, as I mentioned earlier, it is much quicker than the other two. So you can see by the 30-second mark, all of them are pretty dry, right? Well, actually, this one I'm surprised. By 15 seconds, it's slightly drier already, right? Pretty cool. Now let's look at ghosting. Oh my God, a mess. So yeah, again, do not swatch on the Apica CD notebooks, because this is exactly what's gonna happen. But you wanna know something really weird? So there is bleeding, right? But I don't see any ghosting. None. Or it's very faint. You can barely see it. You know something was written on the other side, but that's about it. Right? Depending on your ink, you can actually use this as a journal or a planner or something. Again, just writing, and make sure you use dry ink or inks that doesn't have any shimmer or sheen in it, because this one you can barely see it. This is pretty. I'm very surprised about this one, actually. Very surprised. Wow. Yeah, that's a mess. Oh my God. All right, next one is the Midori MD. This has been my notebook since I was a kid. I love this notebook. I used to have this in high school. But yeah, so this is the Midori MD. Let me zoom in. Midori paper is also used in the traveler's notebook inserts, which I also used in the past. So I'm very familiar with this paper. It is more absorbent. I'm going to say that, right? You know, like if let's say compared to the Clairefontaine and you know the Apica, those are glassy. This is toothy. You can actually feel it. It's not rough by any means, but just enough feedback to keep your nib grounded, which sometimes I like. So it definitely absorbs the ink more. So, which I'm actually very surprised because it is more absorbent. However, it is showing the properties better than any. Oh my God. See, this is a very genuine reaction right now because I waited for everything to dry up and then I just started filming. I didn't really look at it beforehand. Okay, I am very, very surprised. I'm going to zoom in even more so you guys can see what I see. You can definitely see the shading here. It's slightly darker. That's all I'm going to say. I think I can say that compared to the other ones. It's slightly darker. Even the writing is darker. The wearing goal, that is exactly how you should see the sheening property. You see that? I mean, we're going to compare this later, but I'm just saying this is, compared to the other 2 or 3 we just tested, this is by far the best one. And here you can actually see it on camera. The reds coming out of the blues. Wow. And look at that shimmer. Oh my God. That is insane. It just literally sat there. It didn't So how come they said this is more absorbent? I am confused now. Because if it's more, well, I don't know. Wow. That is amazing. Look at that. Look, oh my God, that is so pretty, so magical looking. Ooh, dry time. The only thing that failed on the 30-second mark is the Phantom of the Opera. But both the Tyrian Purple 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was pretty much dry on the 30-second mark. Well, actually, the Tyrian Purple was pretty much dry out on the 15-second mark. Wow. Now let's look at ghosting and feathering and all that jazz. All right, so as you can see, it bled through a little bit, just a little bit. So I don't mind that. You know, like it looks like it started to seep through, then it stopped. So it didn't completely went on the other side. Ghosting, yeah, you can see it, right? It's ghosting, but again, I'm used to it. It's like I've used Midori for years, so I know how it is, so I'm used to it. I never use it for swatching though, so this is good to know. Swatching maybe not, right? But definitely as a journal or a planner, you can definitely use your fountain pens. The dry ink using a fine nib is not as bad as the medium and the broad, right? So you can see it. Yeah. Love Midori. All right, next one is the Iroful. I love their logo. I got this notebook because of that logo. So, but One thing I wasn't expecting when I was researching for these papers for the video, I just found out that Iroful is actually is made by the Sakai Technical Paper, which is the same folks behind the original Tomoe River. Isn't that crazy? This one is a 75 GSM paper, and with a slightly, I don't know if you can see it on screen, it's slightly on the ivory tone. And again, it features a proprietary surface treatment, and that's supposed to enhance ink performance, especially for fountain pens and calligraphy. And actually, they even said that some alcohol markers, which is I haven't tested yet, and I'm scared because alcohol markers are vicious. So let's take a look at the ink properties here. Well, again, that's so bizarre that it's getting darker as we go on the different papers. You can see the shading here, which is pretty good. The sheen, not as dramatic as the other ones. I'm not going to compare it to the other ones, but overall, it's not showing the sheen as much as you want to, but it's there. So you guys can see it on the camera, right? Let me just zoom in, because every time I move it, it's not focusing. So you can see the sheen right there, right? So it's not bad, right? Like, as long as you can see it. You can't see it on the writing though. None whatsoever. Shimmer, that was actually really good. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. And I guess that is expected, because it does have that coating, so all that glitter just settled on top, right? So that's expected. The dry time test, it is, because it has that special coating, it just failed. Even on the 30-second mark, they look exactly the same as the 5 seconds. This one took a while to dry, because I did watch them. I just laid them out here in my living room, and it did take a while before it dried up. So that is I guess that's the con for this one. What else? I guess that's it. Yeah. Oh, dry time. I mean, feathering and all that jazz. So it's definitely ghosting. So this is another one that do not use for swatching. There is some ghosting, but it's not as bad as the other ones, actually. I don't mind that. But yeah, it definitely bled through. Not as bad as the other one, but yeah. So don't use this for swatching, but for journaling or just writing notes or whatever with your fountain pens, if you don't mind the ghosting, then yeah, this is a good choice. Iroful. A lot of people love this. All right, next one is the Rhodia. I'm using the Dot Pad. This one is an 80 GSM paper with 5mm dot grid. In terms of the color, it is pretty white. It's not cream at all. It's not as smooth, I want to say, like the Clairefontaine or even the Tomoe River paper, but it's smooth, just not glassy, right? How it handles inks. Right before I pressed record, I was staring at it because I really want to tell you guys how I really feel about this one. I'm surprised, actually. I don't like how the Tyrian purple came out. I don't know. It looked like it absorbed the ink so much that it looks so flat. I don't know. From this part right here, the writing is not bad. Like it's pretty legible. It's, you know, the color is spot on, right? The sheening ink for the on the Phantom of the Opera, it's not bad either, because you can see the sheen on the sides, like a little halo. But again, that part, I guess, where all the ink settled, it looks, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a matte finish. I don't like that. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of how it dries up. For the shimmer ink, yeah, it's not bad. You know, like you can see the shimmer right there. Kind of like how it formed like a little swirl. But shimmer, I think it handled it pretty well, like a champ. Dry time, pretty good too, right? I mean, I think it's as expected, except for the Phantom of the Opera. I think that's pretty consistent for a lot of the papers anyway, because it is pretty wet. But both the Tyrian Purple and the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea pretty much dried up by the 30-second mark, so that's not bad. All right, so let's take a look at the ghosting and bleeding, or the bleed through. This is pretty. There's, you can see the little dots right there. It did bleed through. This one especially, just a mess. Surprisingly, this is the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with the shimmer. It did not bleed at all. Very surprising. In terms of ghosting, yeah. I mean, it is 80 GSM. I mean, what did you expect, right? So I don't mind this, right? But you can, it's pretty pronounced, especially for the medium and the broad inks. Broad nib, sorry. For the fine nib, it's, I would say it's still, you can still see it, but it's not as pronounced. So yeah. So this Rhodia, not for swatching, but definitely good or perfect for just writing notes or journaling, whatever. It comes in different formats, of course. So the one I got is just the dot pad with a spiral thing. But yeah, I like it. I still use this a lot for a lot of things, actually. All right, next one is the Mnemosyne Mnemosyne 195. This is obviously made by Mnemosyne, and this is it uses a proprietary 80 or 90 GSM paper. This one is smooth. It's actually comparable to, I want to say it's comparable, the glassiness is comparable to the Clairefontaine, but the thickness is comparable to, I want to say, like, what is it? The Midori. Like, you can feel it, pretty substantial. So it is, it's a little bit on the off-white side, right? And, oh yeah, Mnemosyne is derived from the Greek goddess of memory. Isn't that cool? Just thought about that. So yeah, with the ink performance, I want to say, see here, you see it, right? This is how I expect an ink to dry up, right? Not like the other one, not like the Rhodia, where it's, I don't even know how to explain it. This is exactly how I, expect all inks to dry up. So this one is pretty accurate. I love it showed the shading, right? Accurate colors on the fine nib. This one showed the sheening properties very well. Not as pronounced as the other ones, but at least you can see it. And you can see it on the writing. I don't know if you guys can see it in person. I can see the red popping up. So this one showed the sheening properties really well, especially with the writing. I'm very surprised. The shimmer, yeah. I mean, again, it's not as good as the other ones, but it's still there, right? Like you can tell, especially the writing part. Not bad. Dry time. All right, dry time. Yeah, actually, it's not bad. On the 30 mark, most of them are pretty dry, right? So good dry time. I think it's the best one. No, maybe the best one yet, because usually this one doesn't dry as quick. But this one right here, you can see the first two lines were pretty dry. Pretty cool, right? Like that. All right, let's look at the bleed through and the ghosting. Ooh, okay. Not bad. Just a little bit there. Just a tad bit. It's not, it's not going to make me mad or anything. Yeah, these two handle it well. The two wearing goals. You can see it almost trying to seep through, but not quite. Didn't quite get there. This one is just ghosting. Speaking of ghosting, this one is slightly more faint than the other ones. So this one, yeah, it's very faint. You can see it a little bit. This one is a little bit more pronounced, but still not as pronounced as the other ones. And same thing with this one, despite being a bold nib. So I like this a lot. This one's pretty cool. I never used this one before. As you can see, I've never used it. Never used this one yet. I bought it, but never wrote in it. Yeah, I'm surprised. You don't hear this a lot, but it was available at I think Best Buy, not Best Buy, Barnes and Noble. I think I saw this in Barnes and Noble, and that's where I got it from. So pretty surprised. Handled inks pretty well. All right. This is the 9th one. We're almost there. This is my trusty Muji notebook. I've had this for a long time. I've had many of these notebooks I filled out already. This is just my regular scratch notebook. It is so inexpensive. I can't remember how much I bought this from. How much I bought this. I think it's like, I know it's like less than $10, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, they discontinued this. I can't even find it in Amazon, which is very annoying to me. So I have to find something comparable. I knew I should have bought more of these. But anyway, let's see this one. Sorry about the mess. But yeah, so Muji is, I mean, I don't know if you have Muji by you, but I love my Muji paper. It's like a bargain Japanese store, you can say. It's like I used to call it the Gap of Japan, but maybe that's more like Uniqlo. I don't know, but in terms of like notebooks or stationery, they have a lot. There's a lot of, like, right now you can see a lot of the recycled paper one, the plantation paper. This one is the high quality paper, right? So if you want a fountain pen friendly Muji paper, make sure you get the high quality one. The recycled one or the plantation paper, it's not as forgiving. So this one surprisingly. That's why I love this one. It is very, very smooth too. It's actually the same smoothness as the Mnemosyne, which is very weird considering it's so cheap. Um, what else? And the how it handles ink is also very, very surprising. So if you can see here, it dried up pretty dark, but I think that is the actual color, right? And you can see the shading right there. And look at that sheen. Look how well distributed that is. Like half of it is sheen, half of it is like the blue, the navy. And here you can see it kind of seep through there, the red, right? Like in person, I can actually see the reds here. That is pretty cool. So isn't that amazing? Less than $10. Hello. Shimmer, however, this one is weird because it did not show here. Right? I know I smudged it, but it did not show the shimmer on the swatch. However, on the writing, it's all there. And that's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. The dry time also surprised me because it did not, the only one that dried up by the 30-second mark was the Diamond Turn Purple. The two wearing goals were still pretty wet on the 30-second mark. Very weird. All right, moment of truth. Let's see the, oh, actually, is this the one with the feathering? No, this is not the one with the feathering. Yeah, this one doesn't feather. All right, for ghosting and bleed through test, again, there is some bleeding, a little bit, especially this on this one, but not quite this one. Again, the shimmer ink, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, none, didn't bleed at all. Ghosting is present on all of them, actually. You can see it, right? This one, even though this is a medium, this is a broad, you can see it's almost, it looks the same. This one just a slightly lighter, but it's still pretty pronounced. So I don't mind that. I use this a lot, so I use this for notes, actually. When I go to work, this is my notepad. But yeah, I won't swatch inks, but it is fountain pen friendly, as you can see. And I love that it shows the properties. That is my main thing. Because if I'm gonna buy, or if I'm gonna ink my pen with a shimmer or a sheen ink, I wanna see it when I write it, right? Because what is the point, right? All right, we're down now to the last three. And this is one of the budget-friendly ones. Very inexpensive. Notebook. This is the Kokuyo Campus in the soft ring. And let's take a look at how it handled the ink. So as you can see, it handled pretty well, if I say so myself. The composition of this notebook, this is a 70 GSM, by the way. I should really start with that, right? It's 70 GSM. It feels pretty thick and substantial, but it is only 70 GSM. It's smooth. It's almost like, I want to say, it's almost like the Midori smoothness. You can feel its texture, but it's not toothy. It's like, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. And so this is not coated, which is another surprising thing for me. I thought it's coated, but obviously because it's more on the inexpensive side, obviously they won't coat this. It was just nice, smooth paper. That's really it. um, in terms of how fountain pen inks react, or it's not bad actually. You can see a little bit of the shading here, pretty consistent, the colors, right? Because it is more absorbent, right? It doesn't have that coating right there. You lose the sheen, and that's okay. That's okay. Does it feather? Yes, it does feather a little bit, just very little, right there and right there. Not bad though. It's not. Can I zoom in even more? Oh, there it is. You can see it right there, right? A little bit of feathering, you know, not that bad, right? For the shimmer inks, oops, it's not bad either, right? It did show the properties really well. You can still see the shimmer settled right there on top. The writing is pretty consistent with all of the pens. I mean, all of the papers actually. So not bad. I'd handled it pretty well. Dry time. Um, it's pretty much the same as the other ones. This dried up by the 15-second mark actually, and completely dry on the 30-second mark. This one, I'm just gonna keep repeating myself over and over. This is a wet ink, so it's still pretty wet by 30 seconds. This one is, you can see a little bit of smudging, but not as bad as the 15-second one. So maybe 45 seconds, maybe 40 seconds. It should be completely dry, but it's not bad, right? All right, moment of truth. Oh, yeah, this is expected. This is pretty much expected, you know, because it doesn't have that coating, that special coating, so obviously it will seep through the paper or bleed through the paper. So not appropriate for swatching. However, it handles inks pretty well with the writing. No bleed through, just ghosting. Understandably so. It's only 70 GSM. Oh no, wait, this is the A. Maybe this is 85. Hold on. Does it say? It doesn't say anywhere. I can't tell. I can't tell if it's, because I know the bigger ones go up to 80. So I'm not sure. But I'll find out and I'll put it in the description. But yeah, in terms of ghosting, it's pretty normal, right? Nothing bad. As long as it doesn't bleed through, I'm fine with that. So yeah, I can't remember how much this is. Oh, $7 for a $7 notebook. You can't beat that, right? Can't beat that. I guess they do, because they use fountain pens in Japan, so they have to make their papers for the students fountain pen friendly, right? So yeah, for $7, you can't beat that, right? All right. This is the Target brand. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember how much this is. I think this is less than $1, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty cool, right? And this is an B5 notebook. It's 7.5 by 9 3/4, so it's slightly bigger than an A5. Yeah, I mean, this is your typical composition notebook that we all loved. You know, can't go wrong with these. But oh wait, before I start, when I was researching on like really budget friendly fountain pen friendly notebooks, they told me that if I can go to either either Walmart, the dollar store, or Target. Just make sure it is the paper is made from Vietnam. There's another country I can't remember. So apparently, anything that's made from Vietnam in this other country, um, it is fountain pen friendly. And I was very surprised. This is the only one that I kind of looked before I filmed. So this one right here, you can see it's here in purple. Yes, it didn't show the shading. That's fine, right? But I like how it dried up the ink, like how the ink dried up, I'm sorry. Writing, no problem. Of course, no special coating, right? So you lose the shimmer, but you could still see a little bit right on the sides, like a little halo. I'm very surprised. Nothing on the writing though, but that's okay. I wasn't, my expectation for this is not that high, trust me. But it's surprising me actually. The shimmer it handled pretty well though. Very surprised. You can see it, right? Very, very nice. Dry time is another one that surprised me because I thought it will be pretty dry on the 30-second mark because of how absorbent it is, but it's not. This one did though, as expected. This one, no, not at all. Look at that. This one, getting there, right? Maybe on the 40-second mark, it'll probably be pretty dry. But this one, I don't know. That's still pretty juicy right there. Yeah, that's very surprising. So, in terms of the ghosting and bleed through, this is another surprise for me. And this is why this is highly talked about on a lot of Reddit topics because of course this is expected. Like I'm not gonna get mad at this, right? I mean, it's a composition notebook, less than $1. What did you expect? But this I didn't expect. The writing, it did not bleed through at all. Of course it ghosted, but again, I don't mind that. I did not expect this because I thought it would bleed through it. Honestly, it did not. Isn't that cool? This one is pretty wet, so did it bleed? No. Nope. It did not at all. I'm very impressed. Very, very impressed. Right? Target composition notebook. Who would have thought? However, and don't quote me on this one, and please correct me if I'm wrong on this one. They did say that yes, it is fountain pen friendly, but also be careful when you use your fountain pens on, paper that is not marked as or not labeled as fountain pen friendly, because it is paper, so it's made of fiber, and because without that coating, your pen or the nib or the nib might pick up some of the fibers. It will get stuck in the tines or in between the tines, and that could result to like skipping and all kinds of mess, right? So just be careful when you use it. I'm not gonna say don't use it. I'm not gonna say use it. It's really up to you. Do your own research if you have to before you use it on any kind of paper. But yeah, I just read about that. I use mine, right? Personally, I don't have any problem with it. And if it does catch some of those fibers, I mean, just wash it off, right? It's not that serious, right? But there's potential of like you might not see the fiber. Maybe it's a very tiny fiber that gets stuck in there, and then now your nib is not writing or skipping or doing all kinds of mess. So just be careful. That's all. Woohoo! The last one. Oh my god. So this notebook, by the way, this is more than 10 years old. I got this. It's a free notebook when I used to work in retail back in the day, and this was given to all of the workers. I'm not going to mention the name of the company. I don't think it's appropriate. But this is a Moleskine notebook. So I always said Moleskine on this one. So, and I hear people say Moleskine. And then I saw this video on YouTube on how to pronounce this correctly. It is Moleskine. But because the company moved to France, so now it's Moleskine. That's how they pronounce it now. But it is also appropriate, or it's okay to say Moleskine. So I'm gonna stick to Moleskine. Anyway, this is so old. Oh my god. I have 3 of these, by the way. So yeah, I did not expect much with Moleskine, actually, but this one surprised me a lot. There's a lot of talks online that it's not good for fountain pens. I don't know if that's true or not. But based off of this, shading, check. Shimmer, check. No, sheen, sorry. Sheen, check. Shimmer, check. I mean, I don't know. Dry time. Yeah, is it coated? I don't know now. Like, it's not coated at all. Like, and it's I think it doesn't, does it say? I don't know the GSM here, but online it says it's about between 70 to 80 GSM. I don't know. It's not coated or anything, but this one, I'm surprised it didn't dry on the 30-second mark. So usually it dries pretty fast, and it is more absorbent because there is no coating. It's more absorbent, so it's supposed to soak up the ink quicker, but clearly it doesn't, right? I don't know. Maybe because this is the old Moleskine paper from way back in the day. Maybe the newer ones are bad. I don't know. I don't own one. So if you own a Moleskine, let me know, like how it writes with how the paper reacts to your fountain pen. I'm really curious, because it's acting like it's acting like it's coated. And look at this. I'm very surprised with this because they were talking bad about Moleskine online. It didn't even bleed. This one you can see a little bit, just a dot, a couple of dots there. Ghosting, it's fine. I mean, between 70 to 80 GSM. That's expected, but it did not bleed through. Isn't that crazy? This one surprised me. That's why this was last, because no one likes the Moleskine with their fountain pens. At least from this Reddit group that I was reading, they were just dogging Moleskine. But yeah, based on my test, it passed. You can definitely use this, at least this particular paper. I don't have any problem with it. Okay, so I took all the pages out from the notebooks so we can compare it all at once. I'm trying to squeeze them all in, so I apologize if it's really tight. Anyway, I don't even know where to start. You know, some of them look the same, some are darker than others, some are showing the sheening properties better than others. So, all right, you know what? Why don't we start with the use case, right? So if, let's say, your use case is just, writing notes, journaling, or whatever, all of them are pretty good, right? Like I think we already established that none of them, with the writing at least, did not bleed through. So you can use them all. Now, are you particular with texture, or the weight or the texture? Then the Clairefontaine has the highest GSM. It's 90 GSM, and it's ultra smooth. That's exactly how they describe it. It's ultra smooth. So if you like that, then definitely the Clairefontaine. To be perfectly honest, hold on, I'm trying to feel them. Yeah, no, definitely the Clairefontaine is the smoothest one. If you like a little bit more toothier, or not rough. I don't want to say rough. Like, if you want more tactile, then pretty much all of them, actually, other than this. Yeah, the Tomoe River paper, the new one, is a little bit more, tactile. Midori is known for that. The Apica is smooth, but not as smooth. Yeah, no, maybe not this one. I mean, definitely the composition notebooks and the Moleskine is also more textured, right? So, and then if you're looking for dry time, that will be, which one was it? Oh boy, hold on, I'm getting confused now. Dry time is, there was one that was a clear winner. Which one was it? Oh, the Apica. The Apica is dry. They all dried up, they're all pretty much dry after the 30-second mark. So, now for properties, the ink properties, which I think is what most people look for. Let's see. Let's start with shading, right? I just want to point out something, that which one is this? The Iroful, the Diamine Tyrian Purple showed up as more eggplant. This is the only one that really changed the color of the ink. Everyone else is pretty much the same, just more darker than others, but it's pretty consistent in terms of the shade, except for the Iroful, which is so bizarre to me, right? So, but if you ask me which one has the best shade, it would be, where is it? The Kokuyo Campus. I like the way the shading showed up here. Also the Midori, right? And the Tomoe River. Tomoe River is actually really good too. Let's talk about sheen. Sheen, the only one that actually showed the sheen really well is Midori. You can see right there, right? Tomoe River is not bad, and so is the Mnemosyne and the Muji. Surprisingly, the Muji showed really well, considering this is not a coated notebook, and it's very absorbent. So I'm very surprised that it actually showed the property really well. So those are my three, right? But the Midori really showed it really, really well right here, right? In terms of the shimmer, it's these three: Midori, Iroful, and Rhodia showed it really well. I'm surprised that Tomoe River didn't show a lot of the shimmer. I mean, they all have the shimmer, right? But if you want like shimmer, it will be the Midori for me, or the Iroful. No wonder the Iroful is a favorite. I mean, if you look, I just don't like the way it changed the color. I really don't. It did show a little bit of the sheening, but other than that, I don't like it. I don't like the color when it's dry. What else? So we talked about dry time. We talked about, okay, so obviously not everyone will be swatching on their notebooks unless it is meant for that, like a swatch book. We all agree that Apica is not the one, because it, first of all, it feathered right off the bat. The only one that looked like a hot mess in the front, and we're not even going to look at the back. So to me, Tomoe River paper is the best one, because it didn't, oh no, not Tomoe River paper, I'm so sorry. Clairefontaine is the best one, because it didn't really show anything. And technically, Moleskine too. See, Moleskine did not show anything at all, right? But I'm just worried that this might not be, I don't really know. That's really the honest answer, because again, this is a 10-year-old notebook. I don't know if it's still the same paper. So let me know if you use your Moleskine as a swatch journal. But so far in this testing, the Moleskine and the Clairefontaine are the ones that are really good for swatching. Everyone else bled a little bit. Oh no, wait, the Midori, well, yeah, it's a little bleeding, right? But not intense, but it's still bled. What else? Yeah, no, everyone else is just a mess. Oh wait, let's check Muji. Yeah, Muji bled. Ghosting, all of them has some sort of ghosting. Some are darker than others, some are more pronounced than others, except for one. That would be the Apica. The Apica, very surprised that you can barely see. If you use a fine nib and maybe like a drier ink, it will definitely not show. Like zero ghosting. Well, I wouldn't say zero, but it's like, I don't know, 10%. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in. Very, very light, right? But again, it has to be the right ink. It has to be a super dry ink and possibly a fine nib. Maybe you can get away with any type of nib as long as the ink is dry. So yeah, very, very impressed about that one. Everything else kind of, has some ghosting. Oh, wait, take it back. Mnemosyne. This is my first time using my Mnemosyne one. This one is also very light. ghosting, right? You can see it's not as pronounced. You can see it, but it's very, very faint. So I really like that. What else? What's my favorite? You know what? To be perfectly honest, I was so ready to say it's the Muji one, honestly, because I use this a lot and it does show all the properties really, really well. But what really impressed me is the Midori. It really did. I wish they would make like a white paper though. I mean, I'm okay with this cream, but I think I'll be happier if it wasn't cream. You know, you would think I would like the Clairefontaine because it's such a hyped paper, but I'm actually really disappointed with this. Very, very disappointed. I don't like the way the ink shows up when it's dry. The Tomoe River paper, you know, like it's a staple, and I don't know, maybe I'll still use it next year for ink journaling or for swatching inks because it's pretty good. It handles inks really well. Well, except for the bleed through, but in terms of showing the properties, it's not bad. I know it's really hard. That's why I said there's no such thing as a perfect paper out there or a gold standard. I mean, look at this. People always say there's a gold standard. I don't know. I'm so sorry if you swear by Clairefontaine. I really am not impressed. I'm sorry. You know, and again, maybe I'm using the wrong ink. Maybe it's the pen. I don't know. Maybe the way I inked it is wrong. You know, it's different factors affect different things. But so far, I do like the Midori. That will be my favorite. Second favorite, let's see. I'm actually impressed with the Mnemosyne. I have to see if they make other formats with their notebooks. I like it's super soft. It's soft, but it's better with the inks than the Clairefontaine. I'm impressed with the paper. See, zero bleeding, zero ghosting. So, I have to check this out. Rhodia, yeah, no. Look at that. It looks like mud. I don't like it at all. I really don't. I don't like for shading inks. Shading, yeah, inks with shading properties. It's a mess. Oh, do you see the difference now? Does it see on camera? Does it show? I can't tell. Yeah, this is more violet than purple. Anyway, I will compile this into like a table format, and I'm not sure if you can download it, or I'll give you a link so you can download it yourself. And then of course I will post links on where you can buy these. Most of these you can buy from Amazon, honestly. If not, I'll post other websites where you can find it. So so what's the verdict? You know, at the end of the day, the perfect paper is the one that makes you want to keep writing, right? For me, I definitely have a favorite from this test, and I think I already mentioned that. But what works for me might not be your holy grail. And that's okay, completely valid, right? Remember, when it comes to fountain pens, the best writing experience is all about the perfect trifecta. It's the nib, the ink, and the paper. Keep that in mind, right? So some people might use a different ink and it works for that paper, while you're using a completely different ink, maybe the same nib, but because you're not using the exact same thing, it might not work for you, right? So when those three align just right, that's when you hit the sweet spot. Trust me, you will want to write everything by hand, even your grocery list. I do. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I have more pen and stationery content on the way. If you got a favorite paper I didn't mention, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for hanging out with me. Until next time, happy writing and keep pondering. Bye.